Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Vaccination blitz to be held this holiday weekend. Opposition MP accused of rejecting push for Portmore to become Jamaica's 15th parish. I'm Anthony Lugg. Here are the details. Another vaccination blitz will be held this holiday weekend. Another batch of vaccines will arrive in the island today, and Jamaicans are being urged to make their appointments and get vaccinated. Cody and Barrett reports.
300,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine are scheduled to arrive from the UK Friday afternoon. The Health Ministry is aiming to distribute 150,000 in the coming days. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tofton addressed concerns of a shortage of vaccines being the cause of the low uptake.
For all those who said, well, we have no vaccine to get, well, this is your opportunity. Go out, take someone with you, because we want every single dose of the vaccines available to us come Saturday morning to be used up, and there'll be no excuses.
Vaccination centers will be open by 10 a.m. on Saturday for persons ages 18 and up. Venues include the National Arena and health centers across the island. Though walk-ins will be accommodated, persons are being encouraged to make appointments on the Health Ministry's website for their first and second dose. The government is also anticipating other supplies over the next few weeks, but Dr. Tofton says persons must not wait on the next batch or the next brand.
The cardinal rule to vaccination against COVID-19 is to take the first one you get. And in our case, the value of that principle should lie in the fact that as a government and as a country, we do not accept vaccines that do not go through clinical trials and pass the test for efficacy and safety.
In the meantime, Dr. Tofton weighed in on the debate on whether teachers who are vaccinated should receive preferential treatment. Prime Minister Andrew Holness mooted the idea this week. Dr. Tofton contends giving equal treatment to vaccinated and unvaccinated persons could mean putting persons at greater risk for the spread of the virus.
Because effectively what you're doing is undermining the entire process and putting persons at risk who are trying to be responsible about the response. So how does this manifest itself? If you take the vaccine, you represent less of a threat. If you don't, you're a bigger threat or risk. It may mean that you're going to have to be subjected to testing, for example. So you may find a case where if an employee, for one reason or another, does not take the vaccine, they may have to do more frequent testing.
The government is hoping to get 65% of the population vaccinated by March 2022. So far, approximately 124,000 persons have been fully vaccinated. By the end of September, 1.4 million doses are expected. Cody and Barrett, TVJ News.
In the meantime, the Health Ministry says 11 persons have died after being vaccinated.
We concluded that 9 of those 11 persons, the deaths were coincidental. So it was not caused by the vaccine. Their death would have occurred whether they had the vaccine or not. It was just coincidental. And that was 9. 2 others we have been able to ascertain as being indeterminate.
Director of Family Health Services, Dr. Melody Ennis, says for those 2 persons, there was no evidence that the vaccine was the cause of death. Instead, she pointed to underlying illnesses. Persons are, however, being encouraged to report adverse events as the vaccines are still new.
And therefore, we do want to report to the international community if there are any nuances within our population. So yes, we encourage persons to report, but we are also saying to you, let us know, and we will do an assessment on the spot, allay your fears, begin treatment, and then forward the documentation to the national level for causality assessment.
The low level of vaccination in Jamaica is becoming a problem for tourists. That is the word from Negril hotelier and president of the Negril Chamber of Commerce, Richard Wallace. Mr. Wallace said some visitors ask about the vaccination of locals before they confirm their travel plans to Jamaica.
what is happening in Jamaica, and you know, for a country that's dependent on tourism, you know, we have to be careful about that. We have to be cognizant of that fact that eyes are upon us and very seriously. It's not overwhelming yet, but we have cancellations because of the low vaccine. What is it, 6.6% or something like that? We are the lowest in the Caribbean, behind Haiti. That's not a good statistic. It doesn't look good for us as a country. And as I said, I personally know of guests that have been calling to make bookings and mentioning that, and tour companies are asking as well.
Mr. Wallace said the concerns are known by the tourism authorities. The business leader, in the meantime, urged Jamaicans to get on board with the vaccination program.
Might as well we just take the vaccine and move on with our lives, or we're going to end up having these kind of curfews and these measures put in place to keep it down.
The country recorded 180 new COVID-19 cases on Thursday. This is from 1,158 test samples. The overall case count is now 52,684. This brings the positivity rate to 13.9%. 5 new deaths were recorded, pushing the death toll to 1,187. Meanwhile, 134 persons remain in hospital, 16 are critically ill. There are 4,172 active cases. COVID-19 restrictions on the entertainment sector is pushing some stakeholders to migrate. As we hear in this report from Cody and Barrett, holding shows overseas is an option being considered by small-scale entertainers.
Comedian Christopher Johnny Daly explained that hosting events in countries with less restrictions is another option local entertainers are looking at due to little provisions for creative talent.
Recently, I had to travel overseas to do some work and to feel like a stand-up comedian again, because we just have not had the opportunity to. And what is sad is there's a broad brushing in Jamaica when it comes to talent. You know, everybody's not DJs, and we're not all spinning music. You know, there are many different forms of creative expression.
He says the entertainment sector is broadly brushed under one umbrella, so persons doing various genres of entertainment are left behind. According to Mr. Daly, agencies are not doing enough to bring back entertainment.
There was no attempt at trying to show the government a way, or even showing them, hey, that there are different genres, or maybe this is a way that we could work it out. For instance, we have a lot of green spaces in Jamaica. We know what we need to know about the virus and corona. We know that it operates better indoors with a lot of people packed up together, but it may not spread so much if you have an outdoor concert.
But for others, although the pandemic slowed down initial plans for expansion, moving events internationally was already in the pipelines. Chairman of Dream Entertainment Kamal Banke explained that the move is because the brand is growing.
We'll always continue to have events in Jamaica. What those events will look like will actually be determined by, what the current protocols are. But of course, New York will happen this year. It's looking extremely good. And of course, Negril will happen and it will look good as well.
Cody and Barrett, TVJ News.
And it's time now for a break, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to Midday News. Thanks for staying with us. Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Southern, Fitz Jackson, came under fire at a Joint Select Committee virtual town hall meeting yesterday afternoon. Mr. Jackson was accused of rejecting the push for Portmore to become Jamaica's 15th parish. Sandy Williams has the details.
Major infrastructural development, including a hospital, is in the pipeline for Portmore. This as the push continues for the Sunshine City to become the 15th parish. Good news for residents, but they have concerns. They are accusing Member of Parliament for Southern St. Catherine, Fitz Jackson, of being against Portmore being upgraded to parish status.
As a leader, we need to know that development takes place little by little, and I realizing this opposing unnecessary is not good for us.
I have not heard from Fitz Jackson any vision for his constituency and indeed for the wider Portmore. And I want to give value to the fact that over the last number of years, We have had 10 PMP councillors in Portmore, 1 mayor, and 2 members of parliament up to September 3rd. And not one single one of them, or as a group, was able to articulate a vision for Portmore.
Mr. Jackson was the only representative from the People's National Party present at the Joint Select Committee's virtual town hall meeting on Thursday. Committee member Natalie Campbell Rodriguez accused Mr. Jackson of rejecting the move because of politics.
Legs are not being given to carry the journey that much further because of politics. Because I must repeat what I said last week. It is a known fact based on straight numbers that if Portmore is removed from the St. Catherine Parish Council, the one majority that the People's National Party now has in that council is lost and they lose the council. And that's what is pushing this fight against the parish for Portmore.
Member Jackson, you are out of order, Member Jackson.
Sir Chair.
Member Jackson.
Everyone come line up.
Member Jackson.
Sir Chair, on a point of order. Address the subject before
Member
us.
Jackson, if it is the opinion of the citizens of Portmore that there's a deficiency in the level of representation from the PMP. I cannot tell him what to say.
With his political platform.
Mr. Jackson.
Meanwhile, committee member Homer Davis says Portmore should become a parish to eliminate challenges like being part of 2 municipalities.
How can you have a representative voting in one municipality and go into the other municipality and still have a vote? There's a conflict there, in my opinion, Mr. Chairman. There's a conflict there. And it's, well, the way in which it can be fixed, Mr. Jackson, is by declaring Portmore a parish. There's no other way.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
The quality of in-store customer service from most utility providers did not improve significantly in 2020. This was revealed in the Office of Utilities Regulation, OUR's mystery shopper exercise, which was carried out between September 2020 and January 2021. The details were revealed in a Zoom webinar yesterday.
The 2020 Mystery Shopper exercise is the 3rd yearly survey by the OUR to ascertain the level of customer satisfaction with Flow, Digicel, the Jamaica Public Service, and the National Water Commission. CEO of Market Research Service Limited, Kishka K. Anderson, says overall ratings were good. This as online services were included in the 2020 survey in light of COVID-19.
If we should take out the scores obtained in online chat rooms, what you would have found is that Flow would have made no improvement since 2019 with an overall average score of about 63%. We would have seen Digicel down, not significantly, but by just 1 percentage point, 2 percentage points, my apologies, from 62% in 2019 to 60%. JPS would have gained 2 percentage points, and NWC would have been up by 12 percentage points.
In assessing the telecoms providers, both were given high marks for call center services, but failed in delivering exceptional service in store and also in following up with internet-related issues. The utilities providers got a similar rating. Knowledge on bill queries and call center ratings were high.
In terms of delivery of exceptional service, according to what the shopper considered exceptional service, well, we found that 29% NWC, 13%, 18% JPS.
As for provisions for persons with special needs, Digicel, Flow, and JPS were all rated below 30%, with the NWC graded at 57%. The survey checked for ramps, rails, or special lines for the physically challenged.
Infrastructural as well as service delivery. And we're seeing consistently since 2018, this has been an issue where the providers are not making exceptional or special areas, special service areas for persons with special needs.
The All-Island survey saw unidentified customers contacting all entities 143 times. For in-store customer service delivery, the NWC saw the greatest improvements with 71%. JPS is second with 66%. Flow had 59%. Followed by Digicel with 57%.
And it's now time for the Business Minute. Here's Cody and Barrett.
In business news, persons operating in the tourism sector are being encouraged to get assessed for a Jamaica Tourism Board license. Director of Product Quality at the Tourism Product Development Company, TBDCO, Deanna Keating-Campbell, says it will give businesses a competitive advantage on the global tourism market.
Standards and quality will indeed set us apart from the competition and keep Jamaica where we want to be in the #1 spot. We are doing well thus far, and I think the 25 years that TPDCO has been working are a testimony to the high standards and quality that the Jamaican tourism product is known for.
She was speaking at a tourism webinar on Wednesday. Despite the current socio-economic challenges, Berger Paints Jamaica is reporting a 62% increase in revenues for the quarter ended June 30, 2021. In its recently released financial statements, the company recorded $665.7 million in revenue, and operating expenses totaled $370.1 million, or 35.7% increase. The company says the increase in operating expenses resulted mainly from a new campaign and packaging redesign, investments in further development of human capital, and additional depreciation associated with capital expenditures. And coming up in the Business Review this Sunday, a new ice cream company on the market, creating all your favorite Jamaican flavors in one dessert. And that's it for the Business Minute this week. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
Here now is a look at the top regional and international stories.
In Barbados, Democratic Labour Party DLP presidential candidate Guy Hewitt has challenged Prime Minister Mia Mottley to allow citizens to have their say on whether the country should become a republic. Mr. Hewitt, who last week questioned the timing of the move, argued that the Prime Minister was duty-bound to keep her previously stated commitment that Barbadians would pass judgment on such a decision. On the international scene, a new study supports mask wearing for people already vaccinated against COVID-19. Researchers say vaccination alone will not be able to stop new variants from spreading. In fact, the study concludes vaccination may actually help more vaccine-resistant strains evolve. According to researchers, the virus will not stop changing until almost everyone has been vaccinated. The study was published in the journal Nature Scientific Reports. Earlier this week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued guidance for everyone to wear masks indoors in most parts of the United States. And that's it for your International Roundup. I'm Shamela Pullen.
We head now to a quick break. When we return, we'll have your Midday Sports Report. Simon Preston is standing by.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. Reigning champion Elaine Thompson-Herah and two-time champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce were among the fastest qualifiers for the semi-finals of the women's 100 metres at the Tokyo Olympic Games on Thursday evening, Jamaica time. Meanwhile, 21 Jamaican athletes are slated to compete on day 2 of track and field at the Olympic Games this evening, Jamaica time. Genevieve Russell will be the first Jamaican involved as she will compete in the women's 400-metre hurdles in Heat 2 at 7:08. Leah Nugent will go in Heat 3 at 7:16, while Rhonda White will go in Heat 4 at 7:24. At 7:30, Shadea Lawrence will compete in the women's discus throw qualification in Group A. At 9:01, Yannick Thompson will line up in the Heat 3 in the heats of the women's 100-metre hurdles. 8 minutes later, Brittany Anderson will go in Heat 4, while at 9:17, Megan Tapper will line up in Heat 5. Jumpers Tajay Gale and Kerry McLeod will compete in the men's long jump at 5:10 on Saturday morning in the preliminaries. 5 minutes later, the semi-finals of the women's 100 metres will commence with defending champion Elaine Thompson-Herah in Heat 1 from lane 4. At 5:23, Sharika Jackson will line up in lane 6 in semi-final 2, while at 5:31, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce will go in lane 5 in semi-final 3. Meanwhile, in the men's equivalent, that will begin at 5:45. This event will feature the trio of Johan Blake, Taekwondo Tracy, and Oblique Seville. At 6:15, Chad Wright will go in search of Jamaica's first medal at the Games in the final of the men's discus, while at 6:50, Natoya Gould will run in the semi-finals of the women's 800 metres. At 7:35, Jamaica will compete in the final of the mixed 4x400 metre relay. The last event on the day will be the women's 100 metre final at 7:50. And finally, this afternoon, for the 7th time in history, Mexico will meet the United States in the final of the CONCACAF Gold Cup after both teams recorded semi-final victories on Thursday. Defending champions Mexico got the better of Canada 2-1, while the United States edged invited team Qatar 1-0. Mexico will meet the United States in the final on Sunday in Las Vegas. And that is where we'll blow the final whistle for now. For your Midday Sports Report, I'm Simon Preston. Anthony, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Simon. Simon, just before we go, what do you make of the performance last evening?
So far, impressive performances from the Jamaicans. A bit of disappointment that in the throwing events we have made progress to the final. But on the track, it's looking impressive. It's looking good.
All right. Tomorrow morning, do I pull up my pot covers and my broom?
Yes. Sweep 1, 2, 3 in the women's 100-meter final. All being well, Shelley-Ann Fraser-Price, Elaine Thompson-Hero, and of course, Sharika Jackson. So 1, 2, 3, yes, you can bring out the pot covers, the broom, the blowhorns. Yeah, get ready.
And what about the discus finals? Talk to me about what our chances looking like there.
Yeah, Chad Wright got in. He wasn't the furthest of throws. He got there just on the last attempt as well, being as the 12th thrower. Okay. Still has an opportunity. He's in the final, so there's an opportunity to get a medal, but he's going to have to throw a lifetime best to get a medal.
All right. Thank you very much, Simon. I heard you. I'm going to bring out my brooms and I'm going to bring out my pot covers.
Yeah, set your alarm. Set your alarm.
That's it. All right. Thank you. And that's where we leave you this afternoon. I'm Anthony Lugg. Join us at 7 for primetime news. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.